Welcome to Nick Saban Junior Sports Talk TV. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And yes, after last week, today I am officially back with the live videos. I had a lot going on my end. Had to get my devices situation straight. Had to get personal issues straight, and now it's all good. And I want to thank everybody in the chat. Roll Tide to everybody. Roll Tide rise up. Tom Reed, salute to you. Go Dogs, Justin Summerlin, Lorenzo, all y'all guys. Who else? Jeff Stapleton. Man, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. But today we're gonna talk about some Alabama football, and we also gonna go over the week 1 recap. And we're gonna give our thoughts on some of these games. This week I haven't been able to do a deep dive like I used to do because like I said, a lot of issues, but I did see a lot of games this weekend. So, hey, I see my guy Icebox in the chat, Roll Tide. So, man, let's get to it. Van, first off, how you been, man? It's been a while.
Man, doing all right. You're going to have to overlook me, though. I got a little bit of a cold going on, so if you hear me sniffing, don't think nothing about it.
But this been going on too in my household, my kids, since they start school back, man.
As soon as they go to school, man, you're going to catch everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But, man, how excited are you for college football to be back?
Say it again?
I said, how excited are you for college football to be back? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really watch TV till it comes back. Seriously. It feel like a 6-year wait. It felt like a 6-year wait. Saban left us, and we were like, what the hell? Then Coach Kalen DeBoer, we were like, oh, okay, this might be on to something. All the recruiting excitement going on, and it seemed like the season would never get here, but, man, it's here now, and I've been excited about just football, period. My son playing football. Then I told you about the injury he had, but he healing up. He healing perfect. So I just gotta get a doctor to look at it again. See where we can go from there. But football all around, I'm excited, man. I've been able to see. I can't wait till 4 years from now when we're talking about Nick Saban Jr.'s son coming out of. I don't want to expose him and say where he comes out of high school at, but when he comes out of high school, which is one of the best high schools in the state of Alabama, by the way, when he comes out, we're going to be talking about him on the recruiting trail, man. I can't wait for that.
Matter of fact, I think number 22 in the nation right now, that high school.
I believe it. I believe it.
They 22 in the nation.
Man, they put out talent.
Yes. Hey, as a matter of fact, and one of those talents was on the field Saturday as well, balling out too.
Yes.
True freshman.
Yep.
So, guys, let's get into it. First off, I want to start by saying we all know about the Kalen Proctor injury, and it seems like it's a week-to-week thing, not a bad thing that's going to hold him back for too long. Ryan Williams has been named SEC Freshman of the Week. Ryan Williams, that dude is awesome. That dude should have been Friday. He should have been playing the second high school game of the season. This man playing college football.
You know what I instantly thought of when you see that stat line? 2 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you remember when Randy Moss was a rookie against the Cowboys, had 3 catches for like 160-something yards? That's what I instantly thought of, It was crazy. He's everything we thought he would be. I hadn't seen this much hype from a wide receiver out of the state of Alabama probably since Julio.
Yeah.
And, he's not the physical specimen that Julio is, but he's faster and I dare say a better route runner.
Mm-hmm.
Things that really kind of work more in his favor in today's game.
Yeah.
Because that middle of the field is an interstate right now. It's wide open. And a guy like that, forget about it.
And it's funny that you say that, but we haven't seen as much hype because you got another dude that came from the school we talk about that my son will go to, Cam Coleman over at Auburn. He Auburn now, but that dude gonna be
Coleman's gonna be a monster too.
He's gonna be the first 1,000-yard receiver that Auburn has had in a long time.
Yeah, and I think they would take him the second overall. And I'm not bashing Auburn, but they've had like 1.
2. I forget the names, but it was 2, so he'll be the 3rd.
I'll be honest, by the time his career's over, he may have it 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
Yeah. He's something else. I really wanted him to come with Ryan Williams, but it is what it is.
It's so crazy. And the next off, Keon Sabb
Defensive player of the week.
I hope Dabo's taking notes because sometimes transfers work out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to bash anybody that's a Clemson fan in the chat because I feel your pain. But transfers can work out. You got to get a high character guy that will come in and work. And this guy has clearly been working.
Oh, Tom Reed hit us with the freshman Frazier should be the number one. That is a fucking fact.
That's a valid point. I can't argue against that. If they would have got it, I'd have tried with it.
Hey, man, listen, that dude Frazier, I believe this Kirby Smart stuff sometimes, like Nick Saban wanted to be loyal to a fault. He started that dude, what is his name? Branson Robinson, dude. And I know this dude is true freshman, but that dude named Frazier balled out. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes,
he was treating that rock, man.
Yeah, Frazier, man. You could just see star written all over him, which you knew when he was coming out of high school. I mean, he was different. You know, there's that group. There's several 5 stars that come out of high school, but then there's that 10 or 15 guys that you look at and you go, these guys are probably not going to miss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I started this thing last year called the Tusk Award Winners of the Week. And guess who I got that from? From my guy Tom Reed.
Yep. So I was there when he come up with it.
Yeah. So I got I think 3 guys right here, and you can add on to the list if you feel. Of course, Jalen Miro, 279 yards, 98% QBR, I think it was, and counted for 5 touchdowns. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, 3 passing, 2 rushing. 7 for 9 for 200 yards passing, and then I think 10 rushes for 79 yards to give him 279 total.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's hard to even evaluate really what the first team did because we didn't have a drive last longer than 4 plays for the entire first half. So I mean, it was really hard to evaluate. They were just scoring on big plays.
And it's so funny when you break it down that way, because when I see the game, I was like, dang, our offense started slow, but when you start looking at it, you be like, how though?
I'm a guy that tries to watch. I don't really watch the scoreboard. I try to watch certain things and see where we have growth or where we may have digressed from a year ago. And honestly, man, I mean, I don't want to ruin too much because I know we're going to get into it, but realistically, I was pleased. I know we had some goofy penalties. I know, but you can iron these issues out. Okay. Yeah. I mean, overall, you had a miscommunication between the center and Milroe. That kind of stuff's going to happen.
First game.
You got it. That's the key word for this whole show today is grace. You got to give all these teams in college football grace. It's the first game. You get the jitters. You're trying to get back into the flow of things. You're trying to figure things back out. A lot of these guys got new coaches, new coordinators. They're running new styles. And you got to give them grace. And I give that to every team, you know.
Yeah.
You try not to be too hard on some teams. There's some teams that we'll talk about that, honestly, we could go a little harder on. But overall, man, as an Alabama fan and Coach DeBoer's debut, I was happy.
Yes. Justin Sumner said Boston College is beating Florida State 14-3. And I'm going to tell you, Justin, honestly, how I feel about that, it's kind of expected, bro.
Yep.
Kind of expected by me.
I feel like Bill O'Brien kind of fits what Boston College has always been good at.
Yes. Yeah.
They like to run the ball, be physical. You know, they like those jumbo packages, those, what do you call it, the 12-man
12 personnel.
12 personnel. And they like to go heavy, run the ball a lot. We've seen a lot of good running backs come out of Boston College in my lifetime. I think he's a good fit for there. You know, I didn't necessarily like his body of work at Alabama, but he's a good fit for what they're going to do. And if he makes them physical in the ACC right now, there's not a lot of physicality going on in the ACC.
Yeah.
You give them a couple of years, they can do something.
That's true. I agree, man. I agree. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get into it when we get there because I was about to do a deep dive into it. But my next Tusker Award winner of the week, that man Justice Hayes, somebody we've been waiting all along. We've been waiting for this. He was just a true freshman last year, and I tell people after that Michigan game, the way he was running, he would have ran me to a national championship if I was the OC. If I was Tommy Reese, he would have led me to a national championship. This man had 102 yards, 4 carries, and 1 touchdown.
And man, that 85-yarder, you know,
Yes.
good, great. You could see him kind of run out of steam towards the end. I think he couldn't even believe he just went 85 yards. You know? But yeah, he was a guy last year that, you know, our buddy over on Bam Down, Spencer, called Sweet Justice Haynes. And, you know, he was touting him a lot last year. We all were, because you could see the ability when they dropped his first practice footage. You seen his footwork and the way he'd weave in and out of the bags and everything. You could tell this guy was special. And, you know, that was a lot of the knocks I had on Tommy Reese was not figuring out early on some key pieces he could have used last year. You know, it cost us against Texas, not short selling Texas, great football team, one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
But we did not look like we were ready for that game for a multitude of reasons. And, you know, we had some players that we didn't rotate in and out throughout the year. And we're lucky they didn't transfer, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and
for real.
that's something I seen Coach DeBoer do during that ball game. Man, he relies heavily on depth. He rotates in and out, and we didn't seem to lose any footing. So imagine that 6 to 8 weeks from now.
Yes.
Alabama will be a buzzsaw.
And what I said about this, I said this like during the spring, because Freddie Roach said about the defensive line. And this is not necessarily about the defensive line, but what he was saying about defensive line, we have a lot of talents in this room. We just have to rotate these guys and let them continue to have fun. But by him saying that made me feel like I believe Kalen DeBoer and his staff knows that rotation is going to be key. And we seen that Saturday, like you said, rotate. We seen a lot of guys play. Like, honestly, and there's no shade to Saban. I'm Nick Saban Jr., so, you know, I love Saban. So, I don't think we would have seen that many guys play if Saban was there, even with that score. I don't think we would. And we seen these guys play early. That's what I'm saying. Early, man. Like rotation.
Hey, man, I think Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
But he had flaws just like anyone else has flaws.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked apart some of his coaching hires the last 3 or 4 years, you know, putting too much trust in certain coordinators, and it's kind of been our downfall. We'd have good seasons, but you would see the train kind of come off the rails a little bit in big games because he put too much trust in guys that really weren't ready for the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the past that had worked for him. But, you know, as he got older, I think he was kind of allowing guys to do a little bit more what they wanted to do. And we might have got away from the process just a little bit. And, man, I love seeing all that rotation, though. I love it.
And my next Tusker Award winner of the week, Ryan Williams, of course, 139, 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. Phenomenal. We talked about him. Like, this dude is awesome, man. And with that being said, the Tusker Award winner, those are my 3. And I know that I could have did more player. And I agree with Tom Reed said, Nicholson. I mean, even though he had to kick that far, but he was on, man. He was on. So he did what he's supposed to do. But are there any guys that you would like to give a Tusker Award winner to, whether it's offense, defense, whatever?
I think Saab will be an easy choice.
Yes.
I think
why I didn't have him on my list.
Way Rustall, he showed a lot of the stats don't always tell whole stories.
Facts.
But the way he filled gaps and the way he put constant pressure on Finley gave me hope for the future. Because I've been a guy when I have my own show and when I've been on other shows in the past that has really questioned Alabama's defensive line, the coaching and the quality of the players, because we would see guys go pro and look better than they did at Alabama, and it should not work that way. Yeah. And so I was starting to wonder about our developmental process with the D-line. And I seen things Saturday with tunnel screens and bubble screens and, you know, pitch outs and things like that, where the defensive line was meeting that guy just as quick as the linebackers were. And I thought, this team's a little more aggressive than we've been seeing. These are guys that are hungry. And I'm really loving what we're seeing, man. I'm not here to say that Alabama's going to win a national title year one under Coach DeBoer. But when I see improvement in places that I've had doubts for 3 or 4 years, I can't help but be excited about it.
Yes, I agree, man. I agree. I like the way LT Overton was doing. I just like the
That's a grown man.
I like the D-line group.
Yes.
All right. And I talk to Rise Up a lot, and he can vouch for it. That's all I've been talking about. Like, everybody was so concerned about the secondary. And my thing is, secondary will be okay if the defensive line do what they're supposed to do, because this 4-2-5 is going to count on that defensive line play. That's why I love the rotation that we had, because we're going to constantly bring the same intensity throughout the whole game. If you can get these guys rotated, we're going to bring the constant intensity all game that this 4-2-5 is going to need, man.
You know, I've said that for years. I don't care if you had Darrell Revis, Deion Sanders, and Rod Woodson back there. If you can't get constant pressure on the quarterback, they're going to find an open guy.
Yes. Like
that defense is more, you know, that unit as a whole has to work together. And yes, having certain quality players makes it that much better, game changers, playmakers. But I don't care who those guys are back there. If you can't get pressure on a quarterback and he's got time, a receiver's going to get open, especially in today's game. The rules are different, and the way offenses are run are different. And they're going to find guys that are wide open. They're still going to pick you apart. We've seen it happen to us several times.
And when you say exactly what you just said, I revert back to 7-on-7. If you watch high school 7-on-7, it's plenty of freakish athletes out there.
Yes.
And they make good plays on both sides of the ball, but
they do.
Those freak athletes on the defensive side of the ball, they get cooked a lot because why? There's no pressure coming. They're just sitting back there picking them off. So
I'm sort of weird about 7-on-7s because of that fact that a quarterback don't have to get used to constant pressure and things like that, and the ability to move in and out of the pocket, working a 3-step hitch or without a hitch. There's so many different things they don't have to do with no pressure. And sometimes I feel like we're sending guys into college a little underdeveloped because we rely too much on this 7-on-7.
Yes, I agree, and that's how you get a lot of these overrated commits, man. Yes, that's how you get a lot of these overrated guys, and there's no knock on the kid. It's just how the recruiting system go. And I say it all the time. It's always an overrated player, underrated player until you prove otherwise. Like my son was telling me today, he was saying 8th grade. He said the quarterback, hell of a kid. This dude is awesome. I believe he gonna translate the beat is awesome. But he said he got a Miami offer today. And I was just telling him, I said, be patient. I said, I just keep working like you're doing. I said, it's gonna come. I said, and I'm gonna be honest to God, tell you the truth. My cousin Jonathan Wallace played for Auburn.
Yep.
He Phil Farmer. He verbally committed to Tennessee in 8th grade, but by his 12th grade year, Tennessee was nowhere. Phil Farmer was nowhere in the picture, and Tennessee was nowhere in the picture.
That happens all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
All the time. And the thing about it, some of the greatest players we've seen come through college football are late bloomers. People don't talk about this. Ray Lewis was not a guy that was killing it from freshman year on. That's a guy that came on late as a senior in high school. He was undersized. He didn't necessarily have the speed that most teams look at linebacker. He barely got a scholarship offer from Miami. People don't talk about these things. A lot of these guys come on late and they hit their growth spurt. They hit their streak in college. Not every guy comes out at 14 years old looking like a 5-star athlete. You got to keep working.
Facts. And that's what I was just telling them. Hey, be patient. It's going to come. I said, keep working. That's all I need you to do. Keep working. We need to not get focused on people getting commits, getting offers and all that. Damn that right now.
And don't let that cloud how much fun you're having too, because at the end of the day, that's what you got to work hard and you got to put in the time, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears to get to that top tier. But you can't let that cloud how much fun you have, because you only get to do it once.
Yes, I agree. So, I got some offensive basically takes from the game. One of my offensive takes was the offense was explosive and advertised playmakers all over the field. Ron Hollywood Williams is ready for the big time. A lot of hype to this point, and I'm sure we didn't see a lot of stuff, but the run game was consistent. I love the concepts of the run game. DeBoer and Sheridan looked really good Saturday. Important when you have two elite backs, as far as Justice Miller and Justice Hayes and Jam Miller. I love what the offense did. But
Yes.
I want to start by going over this. How did you feel the offensive line group did?
I thought they did well considering we had a guy that got injured just beforehand and had to have an emergency replacement with a guy that was going to rotate out on the right side. He had to step up and go play on the left side, which was, that left tackle spot wasn't really in question. We knew who was going to anchor that. And for this kid who was fighting for rotation on the right tackle to move over to that left spot and play the way he did. There was some issues there. I think there was some penalties that could have been attributed to that. But I thought overall he stepped up and played well.
Yes, I agree. I agree, man. I agree. Elijah Pritchard, another guy from my area. You know what I'm saying? Another guy from my area. Very proud of him. Went through his little adversity with all the stuff from last season and stuff. I seen him get better. I seen him get better that game. I seen him get better that game. He had his moments where I'm like, come on, but he got better that game, man. When we get Proctor back, I think this offensive line is going to be a special group. You can tell Coach Cap and Nick Sheridan really trust the interior guys, the top 10 interior guys in the nation. You can tell he trusts them because he letting them guys eat. He letting them guys eat, man.
You remember last year, me and you would talk pretty often about Proctor as a freshman. Yeah. And we didn't try to go too hard on him. But we talked about how stiff he looked sometimes and his footwork needed work,
Yes.
And his ability to get back, throw those hips back and get vertical on a guy, And I remember the game where you started to see it. I remember it seems like it was the LSU game when we started to really see him come into his own and become better.
Yes.
And he started gradually getting better throughout the year. And, and then just like Tom Reed says right here, you have to expect penalties from new starters. And that can be coached up. But you know what you can't coach? You can't coach effort. You either give effort or you don't. And those guys were out there running on defense. They were running to the ball. They were trying to get tackles. We had a couple missed tackles on the drive, gave up a couple 2-3 third downs, let them get down in the red zone, but we stopped it. And the same with the offensive line. They were getting after it. We had a couple of penalties.
Yes.
But that's okay. We got a couple new guys out there. We had an emergency replacement at tackle. That's a big deal. I thought they performed well, man.
Yeah, I really love what I seen. So, keeping on the lines of the offensive line, tight end group. How did you feel the tight ends did?
Kind of hard to judge because the way, especially in the first half, the way that we were scoring so fast, there wasn't not a lot of guys got to eat, if you know what I'm saying. I have faith in the tight end group. I know there's some good players out there, but overall, didn't really get to see a whole lot from them. As far as blocking now, I've seen a couple of guys crash down on the ends a few times that I was real happy about. So the tight end coach he's doing something.
And see, that point right there, what I was about to bring up, with the plays that I seen the tight ends crashing down on the ends pretty well, because it's easy to pick out the throw and catching, but I look at the tight end position as a whole. Like, how do we do when you're not getting the ball? And I love tight ends. I love tight ends that like to get down, put their hand in the dirt, and block. Get down and dirty. Like, we talk about Gronkowski as a pass catcher, but to me, we don't talk about how much how he like to bully the opponent in front of him enough. That's what made him really good to me in my eyes.
I'll never forget seeing him take Cam Chancellor 20 yards out of bounds one time.
Yeah.
And that was when the Legion of Boom was the baddest thing walking in the NFL.
Yep.
He was an effort guy. And we're so fascinated with the pass game and his ability to break tackles. But, yeah, there's a reason Belichick went after him just because of his ability to catch. It was his nastiness with his hand in the dirt. Belichick like that old school type of guy.
Yeah, facts. So Icebox got a question. How do you guys feel about Western Kentucky getting into our backfield? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there again, we had to make some adjustments last minute for the left tackle. We got a new guy in at center. We're kind of rotating some depth, just trying to see what they'll do out there. And I get Icebox's point. You know, there was a couple plays there where I'm like, look, guys, you know, this is fundamental football, heads-up football. You just got to block on this play, and you're letting guys through. It's like they were confused maybe on the play call or something like that. But overall, just like I said about the penalties, it's something you can iron out. That's something you can look at the film and you can point out. You can say, look, here's where you messed up here. Here's where you messed up here. You know, you didn't get your hips right here. Your footwork was off here and you got crossed up a little bit. You know, they pulled some twist moves right here and you got sucked into the middle. There's things you can do on film to help that kind of thing. And if it's something that can be fixed in the film room, I'm not super concerned about it.
Yes. And I feel like this coaching staff we have, Coach Cap, Coach DeBoer, Coach Sheridan, they're really going to point this out in the film room. They're really going to point them those little stunts and little small things the defense was doing in the film room. Like you said in the beginning, grace. This is going to be the word for the day for this show. It's grace. And that goes with the college football teams all around the boys. First games, they're going to work stuff out. They're going to work things out and get better. But like I said, I seen them get better that game. I seen them get better. So that's all.
And we forget too that Coach Helton at Western Kentucky is a guy that gets a lot of effort out of his guys. He has sent at every position he has coached throughout college football. He has sent a lot of guys to the NFL. And as a head coach, he surrounded himself with a good staff. And you know, Western Kentucky is not a slouch. This isn't a Division III football team. This ain't a high school football team. Are they on Alabama's level? Of course not. But they're a team that's high energy. They do some things really well. They gave a lot of teams fits last year, and I think they'll give a lot of teams fits this year. And, you know, those type of games to open a season, you can learn more about your team than what's on the scoreboard, you know. And there again, the ability that we gave, you know, it's like my coaches used to tell me, and if you're going to mess up 100%. And that's what I felt like happened a lot of times. That even when we made mistakes, we were giving effort doing it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just throw your hands up and get beat on the block. They at least try.
That's one thing I hate about players. My bad. Damn right I know it's your bad. But I need you to give.
We all know it's your bad.
Effort all the way through. Shit. Don't stop and be like, my bad. Just keep going. Keep fighting.
Hey, that eye in the sky, that camera don't lie. You don't have to tell us you're bad. We're going to know. We're going to see it next time we're in the film room. You don't have to tell us anything.
Yep. Exactly. So, what I am impressed about is this stable of running backs that we got. We actually seen all our running backs. We seen Justice Jam, Richard, Daniel Hill, even Kevin Riley, and that Riley, whatever his name. That dude gonna be good. If he stays around, he gonna be good. That dude got a burst of speed. I'm like, okay.
He's got that jump cut lateral movement that Mark Ingram used to have, where he hits that little side step and he commits to a hole and it's a flash and he's gone. I love that kind of runner. You know, I've always been a big fan. I'm not a big fan of a guy that wants to dance around in the backfield.
Yeah, man.
Some guys forget that, yes, your athleticism in high school was superior to everybody else, but you in college football now, a lot of guys are on your level. You're not just going to outrun a guy that's 6 yards away from you who has the angle just because you're fast. That guy's fast too. So those guys that commit up the hole and gone, I'm a big fan of those guys. They don't lose a lot of yards. They fall forward and make yards a lot of times.
So to add on what you said, going back to middle school football, my son them play Opelika Thursday. They're just better than most all these kids out here. So they beat the brakes off of them. But from a coach aspect and a person like you and I aspect, we see that, man, y'all got a lot of work to do. So this coach that they have, he's big on teaching and developing. Like he was saying about one of the linebackers. Yes, right now he's fast enough to take the wrong step and beat the running back out there. But when he gets older, if he's taking that first step to the inside and not watching the outside, he gonna get beat, and it's gonna cause him to be on the bench. So those little things like that, like you said with Calvin, he doesn't dance around. He has that jump cut ability. That's good to do now. And like you said, high school level, they can play around, dance around, and they're just better than the guy in front of them. So it'll pass. It'll pass. But teaching that stuff and knowing that stuff right now is going to be crucial to him getting on the field sooner than possible.
100%. You know, there's so many things Alabama did that they can grow from as well. You know, like they did it well, but there was still room for improvement, and that's okay. That's okay. As a coach, you look for that. You know, you always want to get better. And when your team thinks they're better than everybody and they can't lose, that's when you will lose.
We've when seen you had a problem.
Yep. There's team, you know, Alabama had players on 2017, 2016, 2015. Those teams should have never lost a game on paper.
No.
They have more talent than anybody on the field. But sometimes you get the big head. And I ain't saying that's what cost them every time. But sometimes you quit working hard and the little things catch back up with you, because then you meet somebody that is athletically as gifted as you, but they're more sound in their development. So I think for a first-year guy and a couple months in a system, I thought this team played fairly well. There was some mistakes, but hey, we've seen mistake football under Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not going to be too down.
And your point, I don't want to see my team peaking right now. I don't want to see them peak right now. I want to see them have something to get better every week, get better. I want to see you get better every week.
Yeah, and we both know that a peak only lasts so long.
Yes, that's facts. That's facts. Tom Reed, you know about that, right?
Well, good to see Tom Reed in the chat. I hadn't talked to that man in a long time. Good dude.
I love that my guy, man. I love that guy. So my last group I really want to talk about, wide receiver room. This group is special. I don't care what nobody say. And after seeing Ryan Williams go crazy, I still think my guy Jeremy Bernard is going to be that guy. I was happy to see Kendra Law get off. Kobe Prentice had a nice second half. I would just Cole Adams. I don't think he got any reception. I can't remember, but he's somebody that was on a special teams part of it that I feel like he's going to be a crucial piece to this team. Not saying he's going to be the big playmaker, but he's going to make big plays when it really matters for us this year.
That's number 7, right? That's number 7, the punt returner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love the way even when a guy's like 3 yards away from him on a punt return, he don't do it stupidly, but as soon as his hands touch the ball, he's 2 steps gone. Like he's a high effort player, and you can tell he's got his eyes on the end zone every play. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that guy. He's gonna break one for us real soon. You can just feel it.
Yeah, I thought it was coming Saturday. I
really did too, man.
Oh, man. But I think that group gonna be especially man with Henderson. What I'm gonna say about brother, keep grinding. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. And Jamarcus Shepard and Sheraton, everybody on the team seeing it. He got a catch Saturday. I was happy to see that. Guys like Rico Scott, who we don't talk about, somebody's gonna be awesome. Caleb Odom obviously is gonna be awesome. Like this group this wide receiver group is gonna bring me vibes of Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs,
Yes.
Devontae Smith,
Yes.
Waddle. That group when Mechie came along and the add on to the, it's gonna bring me vibes of that group, man. I'm very happy that Jamarcus Shepard came along with us, man.
Man, the wide receiver room is just like the tight end room for me. There's so much depth and guys that do certain things different than the next guy, but they do it so well. I don't know what you would do against Alabama when they're rolling about mid-season and they come out in a 5-wide set and you've got 5 of that group out there. I don't know what you do because there ain't a team in the country that can successfully cover them. If our offensive line can block pretty well, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't get me wrong. There's teams. Georgia is going to put pressure on you, and they're going to cover well.
Mm-hmm.
But, excuse me, but there ain't many teams out there that could consistently keep up with the athletes who got a wide receiver. And the thing about it, they ain't just speed. You know, when Kalen Waddle first come to Alabama, he wasn't known for his route running. That really didn't develop until he was about a junior and really kind of come into the NFL and kind of learn under some guys. We've got guys that are freshmen that are elite route runners. Now, you take a guy that's a 4.2 40 guy that can cut you up running routes, forget about it. So now you've got Amari Cooper mixed with Jalen Waddle. What do you do to that guy? How do you stop that guy? It's like watching Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? And when they put them, did you like seeing put those guys in motion the way they did? Kind of remind you of watching the Dolphins last year. Man, I loved watching the Dolphins last year. When they put Hill in motion and he's got 3 steps before the snap. See you, man. Ain't nobody can run with him.
Ain't nobody. And that's what I like about this DeBoer offense, man. It's this dude on YouTube. I think his name is Coach Caviar. And he was doing a lot of breakdown of Coach DeBoer's offense. Something that I was familiar with anyway, how he runs it. But when you just watch these videos, when somebody just break it down, it's like, this dude is a freaking genius. KB, roll tide, baby. Go up next to stand up.
KB, man, that's a good one right there.
Yes, sir, man.
That dude's channel's wild. I don't even try to get in the chat most of the time. I just watch, see how it plays out.
Hey, KB, man, that dude, he's so funny, man. Hey, he funny as I don't know what, man.
Man, watching KB like watching The Rock back in his prime in WWF, man. WWE. You ain't go out talking. You ain't go out talking. No. He gonna get you.
And veer off. It's so funny that with his show, he talks shit 100%. But the thing is, he hear you with facts. So
he's not talking shit just to be dumb. No. That man knows football, and he will burn you with something you ain't even thought of yet. And you're like, oh man.
That's what I was just about to say. I'm like, he talking shit, so other people are missing the facts that he throwing out. Then people get on trying to talk junk with him, talk shit with him. Then he hitting them with facts that you don't even know about your own team. And now you're looking crazy.
I watched him so much, I used to catch myself on my own show say, my Alabama Crimson Tide. And I was like, man, I'm ripping him off.
He said, FSU lose again. FSU, you a joke. And I want to bring up this point before I move on with my defensive notes.
Sure.
The transfer portal, listen, it's meant to get pieces.
Yes.
Not try to build a whole freaking roster. It's not going to work. I'm telling you it's not going to work because you're getting a whole bunch of me guys, a whole bunch of guys that had high school hype that never really developed through college, and you're trying to put all this on one team. It's not going to work. I'm just letting you know it's not going to work, Mike Norvell.
What you going to get is a bunch of 1 to 2 year locker room merchants that's going to change up the culture of the locker room. They're going to change how everybody looks at them. Everybody knows why they're there most of the time, and it's for NIL money. Most of the time, not always. Some guys just looking for a fit or a chance. But a lot of these guys are just there for a bag, and they're going to come in. They're going to change the locker room up. They're not team players. They didn't commit and want to go to that school wholeheartedly to begin with, so they're not 100% bought in.
Yes, fact.
You got to be careful with that. But I thought Alabama with Saban and so far with DeBoer has done a really good job of bringing guys in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I just had a call, but that's what dang, I just had a call come through my mind. Like, okay, DJU. Let's talk about him. And we're gonna get back on topic, guys. Started at Clemson. Then do hot at Clemson. You go to Oregon State. You did well at Oregon State. You learn the system and you perform well. Why would you leave that to come back?
He could have been part of that pack too. The glory of the pack too. But yeah, I'll never forget watching him when they played against, I believe it was Notre Dame. He had to come in for Trevor Lawrence when he got hurt.
Yeah.
And he played really well. I believe they lost the game, but he played exceptionally well. And so we all thought, okay, here's just another great Clemson quarterback coming along. You know, they've had a long line of them, you know, since 2012, 2013 on. And then something happened. And to me, that something that happened is when those coordinators left. And I'll still say it. People undervalue assistants and coaches. And you know what I'm saying? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, assistant coaches, people undervalue because they have more hands-on work than the head coach does a lot of times. And
listen,
they have not been the same. And then you take the head coach, and I may be getting too far ahead here, and if I am, just reel me in. But you take the head coach, and I don't have no hate for Dabo. I can almost respect the stance he has to a point. Now, he ain't got no problem when they want to pay him more money with a coaching extension, but he don't want to see no players make no money. I got a little bit of an issue with that because without those players, and he's finding out real soon right now, without those players, you're not getting those wins and those championships. You know, it's a marriage of good players, good coaches win championships, win games. But the thing about it, you can have that stance, but you're holding Clemson back. You gotta, in the words of my grandpa, and excuse my language, but you gotta shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
You either gotta get with the times or get out of the way. And right now, he's taking a stance that is hurting Clemson. And I hate it for the fans. I hate it for the fan base. I hate it for the kids that have committed there because his stance is costing them the opportunity to have continued success and be one of the best teams, not only in the ACC, but in the nation. And he needs to get out of the way. And if his team keeps showing up the way they are, they played a good half against Georgia. They did. They played a pretty good half against Georgia. But you can see a clear difference in the positions that matter right now in football, and that's receiver, running back, quarterback, and then DBs. You can see a difference between Georgia and Clemson, and they had no answer for it. And you know, just like I know, Clemson 4 years ago would not have got pushed around like that. It's not to say they wouldn't have lost a football game because they had, but they rarely lost. And you wasn't going to beat them by physicality. You had to outcoach them.
Yep.
You had to beat them. You had to beat them in certain ways. And now you can push them around all of a sudden. And their D-line played okay. They did. I thought both sides of the line was probably their most positive thing to say about them. But you can see a clear difference in the players now. So that stance is hurting.
And that being said, I was telling somebody that they was talking about basically they agree with Dabo's stance. I said, I respect this stance. I said, but listen, Coach Saban didn't like it. I said, Coach Saban really stand for the same thing. I said, Coach Kirby Smart, the same way. But guess what? They're not going to be stupid. They was not stupid enough not to use it. They was stupid enough that wasn't stupid enough not to use it. I said, listen, you can not like something, but bro, if you trying to continue doing this game, play this for the longevity, you're going to have to use it to your advantage, man. You are Clemson. You have the program name to be able to do it at an elite level, but you're choosing not to do it, man.
Look, man, sometimes I look around in my area and I don't necessarily like the way the taxes I'm helping pay are getting spent. But guess what? I can't take a stance and say I'm not going to pay taxes anymore because I don't have to like it, but that's how it's going to go.
Facts.
It's just like Tom Reed said, college football has left Dabo behind.
Yeah.
He's got on the stance. And now it may be too late for him if he changes his mind. He may go, look, I can't keep up without doing this. Well, it may be too late now because sometimes it takes a cycle or two to kind of get back in the ball.
Yep.
And will Clemson be that patient with him? That's the real question.
Like Brittany B said, I believe she was talking about DJU, but I'm using to this. Like Bubba Dub be saying, trash. Trash. For real. But let's get to this defense. So my standout guys, LT Overton, Quay Rusall, Jahai Campbell, Keon Sapp, and my guy Red Morgan. I cannot leave off my guy Red Morgan. That's my guy. Been hearing about this guy since he was playing Little League football. They say this guy was the smallest dude on the Pee Wee football field, but had the biggest heart out of all of them. And it's showing. It's translating all through his playing career to right now to this point. But there were a lot of rotation early on. Womack got a lot of different players reps on Saturday. Should be valuable moving forward. Should be very valuable moving forward. Keon Sapp is a playmaker, absolute game changer for the secondary, and has 2 first-quarter interceptions that helped kick the offense into gear. Swarm D was in full effect. Pause. And defense was flying all over the football all day. That defense, I feel like, even though it was such a great offense, good offense showing, but I think the defense stole the show. Keon Sapp is awesome. The defense line, Quay Rusall, James Smith, LTO, these guys are coming out to eat, baby. True freshman, Red Morgan. Let's talk about let's talk about the linebacker group as a whole. Even when you bring their guys in, you see Jalen Mbakwe making plays early, true freshman. Bray Harvard got out there, was goddamn looking like a spring game, flying around, hustling around the field. Like, this rotation is gonna be key. And Rise Up, Roll Tide Rise Up said it early on the chat. Playing these guys right now is gonna create depth for us, and it's going to create quality depth for us.
Yes, and if you lose a player, God forbid the injury, I don't care what team it is. I hate seeing injuries. I'm not a fan of Auburn. We all know this. I'm not a fan of Tennessee, but I don't like to see people get hurt because I want to see these young guys have a full career. I want to see them go pro or graduate. I don't like seeing people get hurt. But God forbid somebody gets hurt. When you build depth early like this, and you can count on guys, and you know that they know what's going on in your program and what needs to happen on that field, you don't miss as much of a step. We've seen what can happen. You miss a big player, it can cost you your season.
Yes, it can. Big time. Big time. Hey, before we move on with the defense, I want to ask you something. I got to go back to the offensive side of the ball because I did miss a position. And this overall quarterback play. And what I want to talk about the quarterback play, we're going to take Jalen Miro. No, I want a quick assessment on Jalen Miro, but I really want to talk about the other guys. Quick assessment on Jalen Miro. What was your thoughts?
I thought early on, the miscommunication with the center, there again, something they can work on. Not a big deal. He held on to the ball a little too long one time and got sacked. You got to get rid of that ball. If you don't see something, get rid of it. But that's okay. That's nothing that can't be worked on. I also seen him throw the ball 9 times, complete 7 of them for 200 yards, and throw for 3 touchdowns. That's not counting his rushing yards and his rushing touchdowns. He looks like he's continuing from where he left off last year, and that's a bad sign for the rest of college football. Because along with Travis Hunter, that's a guy that's going to be in New York come January, the way he's playing right now.
The dude a freak, man.
And I'll throw Carson Beck in there too. I wasn't overall, and I'm not trying to interrupt. I know we're talking Alabama. I thought Georgia played extremely well. They played like a team that didn't look like their first ball game. You know what I'm saying? They looked a little more seasoned, a little more ready to play. They got their jitters out in a half, and then they come out dominated and just pushed around. Clear difference between them and Clemson in the second half of the game. Yeah. But they didn't do too much with Beck to just wow you, but we know what he can do.
Yes,
They
facts.
they didn't necessarily have to do it with Beck. They weren't in a situation where he had to keep throwing intermediate to long passes and try to get them in tight windows because Clemson truthfully didn't have that kind of coverage.
No,
So
they didn't.
really, they didn't get in a situation. So Beck's another guy I'll put out there that we'll probably see in New York come January too. Man, that's a great quarterback, man.
Yes, and I seen Georgia like it was first game, but they got better. Like of course
Yes.
Georgia's good. Georgia lights out, but they even got
Oh
better in
yeah.
that game. Like, second half, you seen them like, yeah, this finna be done. they finna smoke them for real.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a testament to what Kirby's done over there and what his coaches have been doing and the work those players have been putting in. Georgia's a machine, man. I mean, we ain't saying nothing. Everybody that puts eyes on the Georgia football game don't already know, fan or not. That's a machine right there. Georgia is a powerhouse.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they still cooking, baby. They still cooking.
Yes.
So,
and the thought that they can get better is terrifying for a lot of people.
hey, so a lot of people were saying that they wanted Clemson to beat Georgia. And I was on the other side of the fence. I said, I'd be damned if I would have played goddamn Georgia after a damn early loss like that. Hell
pissed
no.
off Georgia? No.
You lose after you play Alabama. You lose when you play Alabama. Don't lose before then. Hell no.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want that. I don't want that defense fired up, running around like a bunch of bees. No, we good, man.
But overall, with the defense, what I was impressed with from the defense line is we were batting down balls from a 6-7 quarterback.
Yes.
That is very freaking comfort. That brings comfort to my heart. Let me know that this defense is back on the right page. We might not lead the country in sacks this year, but I believe this defensive line group is going to be so freaking solid to the point that, like, they're helping our linebackers. They're helping out. I was just big on the defense line group because I was telling people all off season that this defense line group is not being talked about enough, in my opinion. But we can actually rotate 3 deep on every position on the defense line, man, and that is gonna be key.
And it's been a long time since we could say something like that too.
Yes,
talent as we've had over the years, being able to rotate 3 deep at every position on that line is saying something.
yes.
You get against a good team like a Georgia that can grind you out and wear you down, and push you around. And when you can rotate big bodies in there that don't have much drop off, yeah, man, that's crucial to hang in there with a team like that.
Mm-hmm. Linebacker groups, Justin Jefferson, Jahai Campbell, Deontay Lawson. I'm loving that group. I'm loving that group. A lot of people big on Deontay Lawson. I am too. But my favorite out there bunch is Jahai Campbell. I was saying that this offseason, Jahai Campbell is my guy. And there's no knock on other guys. I believe those 2 guys are giving me the vibes that they can be the Alabama linebacker group of that type of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree.
I feel like we get back dominant in that position again.
I feel like this is the most depth we've had at linebacker in 3 to 4 years.
Yes. Secondary, like I said, I wasn't too concerned about like when some people say suspect, and in my opinion, suspect means not knowing what's gonna happen. A lot of people say suspect is I said to me it's not knowing because we have a lot of talent. A lot of people say we got a lot of young guys. We do, but people are forgetting that we have a lot of veteran players that. Let's talk about Damani Jackson. Let's talk about Keon Stab. Let's talk about King Mack, Deshaun Jones, like people that came from other schools that are bringing college football experience to this group. Yes, we have the Malachi Moore, somebody that been there. He's
been there for a minute.
Yeah.
And the thing about that too is, people can say we look suspect in that game, but I just don't see it. There's nobody locking down screen passes consistently in college football. There's nobody locking down the middle of the field every single play. I just don't
Not today football.
We gave up like 51% completion rating between two quarterbacks combined and like 110 yards and 2 picks. I thought they played extremely well because I actually had concerns going into this ball game as defense overall, because when you take a guy like Finley and people are going to say he's not that great, or he'd be playing at a bigger school, but he's got bigger program success. Yes. He'll go to the NFL just like an Anthony Richardson, just being off an athletic freak. He's 6'7", 255 pounds with a cannon for an arm. And the right coach is going to be able to come along and dial that in, and you'll have something special possibly. Mm-hmm. So that's why he keeps getting starting jobs. But he's got big program knowledge. He's played at a lot of good programs. He's had mild success against Alabama. He hadn't blown our doors off where he's been, but he's had mild success. So I had concerns. So seeing our defense get after him as big as he was, and they were laying some punishing hits on him when he stepped out of that pocket.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Especially right there in the red zone. When I see him take off one time around the right side, I got a little nervous because I thought, man, how you going to slow this big man down? He ain't got the 7 yards to go. And Quay Russaw hit him and Big Brothered him. He just kind of put him on his butt, and I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody showed up, wasn't worried about it. So, I thought we did well. That's a good test to me for the first game. That's a guy that has experience playing big teams.
And I told Rise Up this on the phone that I like this game. I like this game for Alabama because, of course, people was talking about the secondary. And I told Rise Up that Western Kentucky is a team that's at least that minimum they're going to throw it 30 times, but they want to throw it 40 to 50 times.
Yes.
And with a quarterback like TJ Finley that has the big level experience from the LSUs, the Auburns, playing the Alabamas tight in overtime games, hurt, and he was working us. He was bringing it to us that this was going to be a good game for us to see, but we held it down, and I just I didn't think not one big Western Kentucky was going to be somebody that challenges us for real, but I liked it for the defensive aspect.
Sure. But you look at it just like you look at the team we're playing next week that we struggled against last year, South Florida. And had you told me coming out of that Texas game that we would struggle with South Florida the way we did, I'd have laughed at you. Not that close, because that was a ball game until about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Man, hey, as a Bama fan, I was nervous as hell for a long time, not just a minute.
And a lot of that contributes, I'm sorry, to the offense coordinator we had at the time, but I digress. Defense played fairly well in that ball game, but the offense didn't look like they knew up from down, and we're just throwing quarterbacks out there when we had a quarterback to begin with. But, whatever, it's easy to play sideline or armchair quarterback.
Exactly.
But, at the end of the day, you don't take anybody for granted. You don't take any opponent for granted, because a lot of teams will get up for an Alabama. You don't think you would want to upset Alabama as a Western Kentucky or South Florida? And yes, there's a talent discrepancy there, but if you play out of your mind and the other team makes mistakes, especially in the first ball game, you got a shot. So I don't take nobody for granted, man. I knew what kind of coach they had. They've got some NFL level talent at certain spots, You can't take nobody for granted. First game of the year, you get punched in the mouth a couple drives in a row, and all of a sudden you got a close ball game.
Michigan, you seen Michigan? That was getting worked at first.
Man, they were. Fresno State was stepping up and stopping some of the physical stuff that Michigan likes to do. Yes, sir. Akron actually made it look interesting with Ohio State for a little while, and their New York Yankee sized roster of. But anyways, man, college football had some interesting storylines this week. One of the best games I watched, and I'm not trying to get off the subject, but it just come to mind. One of the best games I watched was Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech.
Woo! Let's
man,
go. Talk about it. Hey,
Jerry Kill.
That man was running, bro.
Yes, he was. And hey, Jerry Kill, people sleep on him, but remember what he did at Minnesota? Remember what he
Hey,
did at Minnesota? They physically would
yeah,
match up with a lot of teams. Now, they didn't have the athletes of a Michigan or an Ohio State,
yeah,
but in the trenches, you wasn't going to push them around. They were a
nope,
solid, fundamentally coached football team. And
fact,
Vanderbilt, one game in, beats a dark horse in the ACC. A lot of people picked Virginia Tech to be a dark horse to win that conference.
yes.
And for
I seen it a
Vanderbilt
lot
in the
this
first
offseason
ball
too.
game to come out and physically dominate on the line of scrimmage the way they did and run the ball the way they did, man, I'm not picking Vandy to win the SEC by no stretch, but I'm seeing growth right here, and I'm seeing physicality that
Hey,
I hadn't seen out of
but
Vandy in a hot minute.
that's a testament to that head coach they got at Vandy. I can't think of his name right now, but that
Yeah,
guy,
Jerry Kill,
yes.
heck of a coach,
That
man.
that dude is on the up and up, man. That dude is on the up. There's a lot of like coaches that people like. I'm big on. Yes, I'm big on Kansas football right now. Cause my coach, not my son, but my cousin is the running back coach. But the head
They got one
coach,
of the
that guy,
best. Kansas has got a heck of a coaching talent pool right there, and one of the most slept on wide receiver rooms in the country.
yes,
Their running back coach, their running back coach,
their running back stable is crazy.
and that running back coach is going places. We'll be talking about him
Yep,
in a few years.
yep. First cousin, we put the rock in his hand.
Oh, is that guy your cousin?
Yes. Matter of fact, that's the guy. That's my cousin. I was just telling you about in the beginning of the show that committed to Tennessee.
Yeah.
When he was verbally committed to Tennessee in the 8th grade. Yes, that's
Yes.
my cousin.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, you tell him you got a next time you talk to him, tell him you got a buddy that's a fan, because man, that I've been paying attention to what he's doing and what he's producing.
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to get the most out of some of the talent they started with. Kansas is a team on the rise. I'm really impressed with them. Hey, UNLV, by the way, have you been paying attention to UNLV?
I seen something about them this week. I wasn't paying attention to it hard, but I'm like, hey, I'm liking these colleges stepping their football game up now, man.
Hey, they were a 10-win season last year, and they turned around and whipped Houston like a dog Saturday. And now Houston's got a first-year coach, and they're trying to rebuild.
Yeah.
They're trying to rebuild, and I understand. And they better be patient because Houston's got a good coach right now. What Taggart did at Tulane was no joke. He's a good coach.
Yeah.
But for UNLV to walk in there and do what they did, man, that may be Florida's next head coach, and I may be saying too much right now. But I don't think Bayou Billy's going to be there much longer. I was surprised I didn't get an update Saturday night that said he was already fired.
Hey, I told Rise up he needs to start packing up his office and putting stuff in the box. And
Yeah,
in the car because it's coming. And
yes,
man, matter of fact, let's go ahead and start recapping this stuff. And I want to talk about this game, Miami. I think Cam Ward just completed Miami, bro.
Cam Ward may be another guy that we see in New York in January.
Yes,
that dude was making off-balance throws. He was changing arm angles, dude. He was he was putting them in the basket over the shoulder. I was highly impressed, and I had seen some of his work. Now, don't get me wrong, but he just flowed so easy in that first game with Miami. Like, he just looked like he had been there 3 years and just bought into the system, man. I was super impressed with him. Super impressed.
Yes. I when I was looking at that game, I'm like, he throwing the ball like he in practice, just trying shit and completing it. He threw that one interception and he was not rattled, shook up by it at all. He was like, cool. But watch this. Xavier Restrepo for Miami. That dude been there a while and he's finna lead this team with Cam Ward. Like, he completed Miami. Offensive line play for Miami. The offensive line play for Miami was freaking
There is
great.
no excuse for Miami to not be the front runner in the ACC right now. NC State struggled a little bit. We know what happened to Clemson. We know what happened to Florida State week 1, and it looks like it's happening week 2 right now.
Yeah, Brittany B with the update talking about some DJ you had at the point just threw a pick six. Well, what was it? A pick six or something? That dude trash, man.
Tell me there ain't something to this sometimes. there's something about bouncing around to too many schools, man. You're not getting good coaching fundamentals and staying somewhere. There's times where I understand hitting the portal, but there's a lot of guys got left behind in the portal this year, and nobody talks about it.
Don't nobody never talk about it. It happen every year.
It's hurting high school ball too.
Yeah. Yep. That's why even with my son now, we watch a lot of Division II football now. I said because I
like
see
to
what
watch
this
it
portal doing. I see what this portal doing, and I want him to realize that these guys put out NFL players too. It's not talked about as much, but these guys put out NFL players too.
Hey, I've watched HBCU football my entire life because my dad pointed out to me a long time ago the players that was in the NFL Hall of Fame that had come from there, and there was a time, man, when it was like 30% of all Hall of Famers were from HB.
Yes.
Man, I love
Jerry
some
Rice, Walter Payton, Michael Strahan. It's so many goddamn guys.
Yes, sir. And the traditions and the things that happen with the just the reason we love college football is the tradition, the pageantry, the halftime stuff. There's just so much to do with college football. And I've always felt like the HBCU teams have upheld those traditions and kept those things rolling so much. And, ESPN don't talk about them like they should.
No.
ABC don't talk about them like they should.
Nope.
If you ever go to one of those games, you'll be a fan for life.
Electrify. Woo.
Magic City.
Hey, and if y'all go to one, make sure you walk through the tailgate a little bit first. You might not even go to the game if you walk through the tailgate. I'm just saying.
Man.
and like Tom Reed said, it's hurting the NFL too. We see the lack of development. We talked about this last year on some of your shows. With Coach Dude, rest in peace, Coach Dude. God dang it, I wish that dude here.
I miss that guy. I tell my wife all the time how much I miss that dude, man.
Man, but we talked about all together that we see it in NFL, the lack of development in NFL. And I was like, come on,
People see the offenses and think the game has progressed and gotten better. But me and you grew up in that 95 to 2010 era was the peak of NFL football to me.
And this one running backs meant something to the game.
Yes, and they still could. There's nothing like having a guy like a Derrick Henry that just gets better as the game goes, but you got to feed him 20 to 25 times for him to wear a team out.
You got to give it to him.
You can't give him the ball 5 times and then give it to another guy and take him out of the rotation and let him get cold again. You got to let him warm up and beat the team down.
Even the Tennessee Titans had to realize that when they first got Derrick Henry, everybody like, what's going on with Derrick Henry? Well, you can't get a man the ball 7 times in the game and expect them to goddamn bust for 125. You got to get this man the ball 25 to 30 times a game to get what you want.
He's a big body bruiser. He's a big body bruiser with surprising speed that will wear you down over a game and then will outrun you in the fourth quarter when you're tired. Like that's the thing about Derrick Henry that you had to realize. Now he's at the Ravens, which is my team, and I'm real happy about it because I can't imagine Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the same backfield, dude. I can't imagine.
Zay Flout, man, that team gonna be stupid.
It's gonna be nasty, man.
That team gonna be
You got
stupid.
them big bad Chiefs out there though.
Yeah. Hey, there's one team I want to talk about. They play Arkansas Pine Bluff. You text me a little bit on that game. That was a busy day for me too as well. I was trying to buy a car that day as well. Son had a middle school game, so I was watching some of it on my phone because my son was on the sideline holding the football in the fucking tee because he hurt. But I was looking at it. Hey, they look different, man. I know it's Arkansas Pine Bluff, but
people gonna clown me. People are gonna clown me in the chat, and that's okay. I've been wrong so many times. I've learned to like the taste of crow. But I seen something out of Arkansas that told me that team's better than they were last year. They get the transfer quarterback Green from Boise State.
Yes.
And that kid's something with a ball.
Yes.
He's not the greatest passer I've ever seen, but he's shifty. And he got a pretty good top end speed. and they started running that zone read, and him and the
And I
running
was just
back.
about to say, you see that?
Name.
Yes.
I
I
can't
was
think
about
the
to say,
running back's name that comes from Utah.
That fits him.
Yes, that running back come out of Utah had about 800 yards last year in mop duty, which tells you a lot. But those two together, and they start running that zone read, and them big hogs up front were pushing team. And I know it's Pine Bluff, but there's things you can see even against small teams. And they look like a group that had played together for 4 years. And they were pushing them around, and the speed of them guys is going to cause some SEC teams some problems this year. The SEC as a whole is getting better. The teams like Florida fell off, I understand. LSU had a bad loss last night, some of that due to coaching decisions, some of that due to penalties. But the SEC as a whole is getting better. Mississippi State's got a good head coach, and they're more physical now. Oklahoma and Texas, two of the best teams in the country joining, obviously makes it better. Georgia is just steamrolling everybody they hadn't let up in 4 years. But the SEC as a whole is getting better again, because I had doubts about some teams last year. Now I'm seeing improvements.
And go back to what you said about Mississippi State. All off season, I've been dying to see what Mississippi State football looks like up under Jeff Lebby. Now, don't get me wrong, we know who they played, and I want to see it against the SEC opponent. But I believe Mississippi State made the right hire. First year head coach is Jeff Lebby, but I think they made the right hire. I think I'm not saying Mississippi State gonna be a team that competed in the SEC, but I feel like we see a better product out of Mississippi State up under Jeff Lebby. And I could be wrong. And I don't be in mind being wrong. This is all opinionated. This is all giving our thoughts.
I want to bring up a subject that's controversial, if that's okay with you.
Go ahead.
That's going to possibly divide the chat, probably make me a bad guy here. But did you watch Colorado the other night?
Yes, sir.
Did Colorado look like a different team than they did last year to you? Because they did not to me.
No, they did not. I seen a lot of
they have a wide receiving core that's on fire.
I seen Shedeur and Travis Hunter, and I seen Horn. I seen the same stuff from offense. They don't have a run game still. The offensive line look like they improved, but they still got to be better to be able to compete with the big dogs. And no, I didn't. And I hate to say if you had enough time, because that's what teams say when they lose, if we had enough time, but
North Dakota State was 50
they had
seconds away from winning that game. North Dakota State needed 50 seconds to win that ball game. That's how I feel. And this is not North Dakota State from 2 years ago.
Nope.
This ain't Trey Lance led North Dakota State, because they would have won that game, and possibly by double digits. And I truly believe that. Colorado, I want to get this out here first because it's a controversial take. I have no hate in my heart for Deion Sanders. One of my favorite players growing up, Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest cornerbacks, defensive backs I've ever seen. One of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. Absolutely. And I'm rooting for him to do good. I applaud the fact that he has been involved with his kids and coached them up, and they're good kids. A lot of people say that, and I can't argue it. A lot of people say that, Tom Reed, and I can't make a good argument to diminish that thought. I want to, but do you really think when Shedeur and Shiloh's gone, will Deion still be there?
We can't forget his other son, either Travis. He got another son.
Oh yeah, Travis. Will he still be there though?
Like, honestly, I think he'll be there, but will he be there? You got me.
If Dallas underperformed this year and had the ability to draft both the Sanders boys, do you think they wouldn't hire Coach Sanders? I'm just saying. About Shiloh? It's a thought.
Can we talk about Shiloh? Shiloh, there's nothing against him, but he is a fourth to seventh rounder at best.
Yes. He is.
Gonna get to the NFL and gonna play quality snaps in the NFL, but you are a fourth to seventh rounder at best. And
dude, that ain't no hate. That ain't no hate, because that's 7 rounds better than I got to the NFL.
Damn right. That's a lot of rounds better. I didn't make it to my senior year.
Michael Jordan didn't have boys that made it pro either, man. They were solid college basketball players, but they weren't their father. It's hard to live in that shadow. I don't judge it. And man, Shador is he's a top 5 pick. We all know it. Could be number 1 pick.
He is.
He does a lot of things well.
He's good.
I watched that game, and I'm not going to give him an A+, but he did a lot of things well. We know what he can do. Without Shiloh and Travis Hunter, Colorado may not have won a football game last year, and that's just true. But you can't play a guy 119 snaps a game and expect him to make it through the season. And if they lose Travis Hunter, look, I like what's the kid's name? Oh, golly, man. Horn. What, Jimmy?
Horn, Joe.
I remember watching his daddy when he was a Saint. You remember Joe Horn?
Yeah.
When he played for the Saints? Well, apple didn't fall far from the tree because this boy he's a Travis Hunter mold. He's fast. Yeah. He's got the same kind of body type. Travis Hunter may be the best player in college football. I'm not taking nothing from Colorado. They won the game, and they won it against a really good FCS opponent. Okay? Yes. But if they think they can go out and throw the ball 45 times against Nebraska and not have no repercussions, because Colorado still cannot run the ball. That was the problem last year. It's the problem this year. They still get pushed around on the defensive line.
Yep.
Their secondary still gets caught out of place. And let's be honest, if you don't throw it Travis, you got a chance.
Yep, facts.
So what do you see? Because I gotta be honest, man, they're playing more hard competition this year than they did last year. We had them at 4-8 last year. Oh, Brittany Bree brings up a good point right there too. Yep. I seen him audible out of a play right there with about 1:45 left. And he audibled out of a first down play and tried to throw it deep, and it could have been intercepted. Yeah. And you stop the clock from running. That's just a bad mistake.
And see, that's when you gotta stop. You as the coach gotta come down on that. Look, goddamn, I got an offensive coordinator for a reason. Yes. You call what you do what he called. You ain't at that level yet, bro. You ain't at, like you good, but I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody asked me if Deion, Coach Prime came to my son right now, talking about let's come play for Colorado. They were like, would you allow it? I said, first of all, it's all up to him. That's his decision. Yes. I said, but if you want to talk to me, consult with me about it. I said, no, because it looks like if you're not Travis Hunter, Shador, or even Shiloh, the 4th to 7th round best, it doesn't fucking matter.
No.
You don't.
And I hate to throw something out there without being able to prove it. I don't like doing that to people, but there's so much stuff that we have heard behind the scenes to the point where Deion had certain interviewers banned from coming in because he got tired of certain questions. And as a father, I can understand protecting your son. But as a head coach, you got to man up and face them. How do you expect your players to face their consequences if you yourself won't even talk about them? So there's some things he's doing that I can see trouble ahead. And, a lot of people say, well, it's not his fault that the media hypes him up. And I'm like, yeah, but he welcomes it. Yeah. You put that target on your team.
You did that.
So and I will say, get what you want sometimes in life, and it ain't always what you need.
And I will say, this offseason, I appreciate that. It seemed like he, far as talking wise, it seemed like he dialed it back some.
I agree.
Like he dialed it back some. But one of the points that you see, this was what they was talking about last year. Do you see he got the media crew down there? I said, yeah, he does. But who the damn camera? Who faces the camera stays in? The fucking Shiloh, somebody that's whatever, Shador and Travis Hunter. I said, that's who all the cameras focus on. So what damn does it matter? What damn does it matter?
And it's phenomenal. We're going to see all those guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they've all got the ability and the opportunity to ball out. Travis Hunter is unique. There ain't a lot of guys can play 119 plays in a game and play them at the level he has played. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you're going to get hurt, dog. You can't do that.
And I bring up this point to that fact
And
that
Brittany B's killing it right now because she's
she
talking
is.
about
She's spinning.
everything I've been
She's
thinking
spinning.
about. Dude, because that play call right there
now.
in the game, you allowed the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like you eating too much time up. You could have made a mistake and not converting and trying to get easy yards. Gave North Dakota State the opportunity, and they started driving again.
Yep.
So you could easily
think about the last pass that North Dakota State completed. Think about where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Think about if they had 10 seconds on the clock, that would have been enough.
It could have been, dude. I'm telling you.
And I'm gonna tell
you go in and play Nebraska. Go in and play Nebraska. Now, this is a team that's trying to be on the up and coming. Got a proven head coach that did really well at Baylor. They've got some players. Dylan Raiola is a great young quarterback. But Nebraska has a level of talent that is different than North Dakota State does.
Yeah.
And you go out and you throw the ball 45 times against them, I don't care that they're rebuilding. They are going to punish you for that. And not being able to control the clock and run the ball is going to hurt Colorado. It's got to. Hey, that's just my take, man.
I agree. And move along. I want to talk about the game last night. Good ass game.
It was a real good game.
I agree with what you said about LSU earlier. Some coaching, but I'm gonna tell you what I see LSU problem is they have a lot of good goddamn players, but they don't have that one. They don't have that one special guy that's gonna make the difference in the game. That special person.
That's a hell of a take right there, man. But they do have enough talent to keep them in a game, as we seen last night, and as we've seen throughout Brian Kelly's tenure there. But I also want to bring up something about it. If you give me just a minute.
Go ahead.
All right. So LSU under Brian Kelly, 0-3 in opening games. No excuse for that. Not at a school like LSU. LSU is a premier school. You ain't at Wyoming, dog. You're at LSU. This is a team that 5 years ago won a title, and a lot of people considered the greatest college football team of all time in 2019. Okay, he's 8-11 versus top 25 teams in the last 6 years. 3 years at LSU and 3 at Notre Dame. All right, that's not a good look, man. The 8-11, and I'm not trying to just shit on Brian Kelly because he has taken a Notre Dame team that was dormant for a long time. Throughout my teenage years, Notre Dame was not very good. Yep. And he brought them back to national prominence.
In our teenage years, we always heard about the old Notre Dame. That's the Notre Dame people.
When Lou Holtz was there, even in the 80s, and won a championship 88. And I remember the Tyrone Willingham experiment, and I still wonder if he wasn't given enough time. I liked Tyrone Willingham. I think in time he could have been a good coach. But college football changes, it adapts, and it moves. If you can't run along with it, you get left behind. But he brought them to national prominence again. He had them consistently pumping out NFL talent again at Notre Dame. He got them in a national championship game against us in 2012 and got the brakes beat off of them, but they did get there. You know,
got there.
Eddie Lacy spun them out of 42 points, but he got them there. But they've been to the playoffs a couple of times. They had to play us once or twice, and it just ain't fared well for them. But Alabama's just different. You know, a Nick Saban-led Alabama team was just nobody was better than them on a consistent basis, you know. So I can't really even hold that against him. But 8-11 versus top 25 in the last 6 years at two premier schools starts to fall on you.
Yeah.
There. Because Marcus Freeman walked into Notre Dame and had them at least on autopilot and now starting to come right up there where he had them maybe even better. So what's your excuse, man? I mean, Brian Kelly goes down south, gets a bad accent, starts dancing with recruits that he didn't get. Upset Alabama one time, but can't win an opener against the team from California. You know what I'm saying?
And they upset Alabama was a bad Coastal Alabama team.
Oh God, a Pete Golden led defense that had
Yes.
never seen somebody run up the middle, apparently, because he sure didn't know how to call it. But regardless, they have underperformed with some of the talent they got because they've got first rounders on that football team right now.
Yes. Yes. Hey, Garrett Nussmeyer did his thing last night. Kyron Lacey gonna be the leading guy of that group. I seen John Emery, the five-star guy that was from years back, finally looked like somebody of the five-star guy that he was
Yes.
recruited. They have the dudes on that team. Mason Taylor, the tight end, they got dudes. They have them. They have them. Brian Kelly is on you right now, man. It's on you.
100%, man. It's just hard to explain what's going on. And they spent so much money shifting around the defensive coaching and trying to bring guys in. And yes, it's USC, but this ain't Pete Carroll's USC. Okay,
No.
This is a USC team that is still trying to figure it out on defense after several years of bad coaching from Grinch, and they looked better than you in certain aspects last night. And mistakes cost them the game, and some bad coaching cost them the game. And one game does not make a season. Okay,
No.
but it's not how you want to start out because it seems like LSU stumbles out of the blocks every year now.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you peak at the wrong times. You're fighting to just stay in games, so you never build depth and you never show exactly a dominant, solid game plan because you always, I don't know, man. It's frustrating to me because I don't think Brian Kelly is a bad coach. I don't think he's a premier top 5 guy, but he's not a bad coach. But I don't think he's a good fit for where he's at all.
No. LSU is a place that has all the talent in state. That has all they kill it in the 2025 recruiting tour. They're killing it right now.
Yes.
Like you have all of what you need. You bring back Bo Davis. You bring back Corey Raymond, a key guy that was with LSU that never should have left LSU. Never should have left LSU. That was on Coach O right there. Let Corey Raymond get away, but they got him back.
Yep.
So you have all of what you need to be successful at Louisiana's, whatever they call it, LSU.
The state of Louisiana puts out so much good talent.
Yes.
You could win more games than you lose just off in-state talent alone.
Oh, just
That's
off
how
in-state
good.
talent.
That's how good the state of Louisiana's high school football is, and the players that come out of it. And a guy like Bo Davis, who to me is the best defensive line coach in college football. And you make arguments, but in my opinion, he's the best.
I love him. I tell my son now, I don't care what the hell Bo Davis is. He could be at New Mexico State, Fresno State. He can be at goddamn ICDC. If he come recruit you, go to ICDC because he's gonna get you to the league.
He will get you to the league 100%. So, it's gonna come to the point where Kelly's gonna have to look in the mirror and say, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? And I just don't understand how you can't win in that culture because LSU is that team, man. Like that state, they don't have any real competition. Tulane came up, but they can't compete with LSU as far as in-state recruiting.
No
and
way.
It's hard to go into. Alabama's done it. Nick Saban has went into the state of Louisiana and pulled out many great players.
Hey,
and it's off guys.
But you see it now. They even got it sold up now. They just start back building their wall, but they knocked our wall back and start building it up. We didn't have to move to Mississippi. Now we recruit Mississippi like we never recruited Mississippi. Because
they spent to Mississippi too. People sleep on Mississippi.
Yep.
They get it out of the mud in Mississippi. There's some real football players in Mississippi.
But speaking of Brian Kelly, let's move on to Notre Dame and Texas A&M. That was a game. I loved that. Like, I didn't get to watch much of it live time, real time, because Alabama game was on. And I'm going to watch the Alabama game. I don't care if it's 150-0. I'm going to watch it to the end. But when I started looking at the game, I said, this is some real goddamn football going on.
Yes.
Two new head coaches. Not two new head coaches, but Mike Elko, new head coach and new quarterback for Notre Dame. Like, you see Texas A&M look different in the direction that they're going, but they lost. But I'm not mad at the direction that they're
Oh,
going.
and I'm glad you
Echo
said
is gonna
that. And I
bring
hope their
yes.
fan base. I hope their fan base. Look, I understand the sting of defeat as a fan of a team. I understand that, but I hope once Monday hit, they kind of looked at it from that perspective and thought, "Hey, we went heads up with a top 15 team. We were in this ball game the entire time. Texas A&M looks more physical in the trenches than they have in the last 3 or 4 years, in my opinion. Quarterback situation's a little iffy to me, but it's a long season. There's promise in Texas in Aggie Nation right now. You know,
Yes.
there should be promise. They showed a lot of fight in that loss, and Notre Dame showed that they could get physical and dirty with an SEC team.
Yes.
Which
So
has been the knock on Notre Dame for years. And by the way, I believe that gives I believe Marcus now has more SEC wins at Notre Dame than Brian Kelly did in a shorter amount of time.
Hey, so my phone is down right now, but I got one thing to say. I get your take on it. Georgia, y'all play lights out Saturday, and I ain't saying this about y'all. I'm saying this about Clemson. College football media, stop putting Clemson in the conversation like they're a juggernaut of college football. Stop putting them up on their pedestal because they have not been that for years now.
Yes.
They have not been that. Georgia is Georgia. Yes, I'm not at Georgia. Georgia, you did what the hell you were supposed to do. Stop holding them. I'm just tired of the fact that people are putting Clemson. Oh, they got Clemson in the first game. Stop putting them up there like they was going to possibly knock off Georgia. Stop doing that shit.
They have been slowly declining since the year 2020. We've all seen it.
Yep. But yeah,
the media hypes it up, man. The media hypes it up. They used to do it with Don Shula in the NFL back in the 90s, man. They would talk about how great a coach he was, but he hadn't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. It's like, okay, he's winning games, but he ain't winning the big games. And, we act like he didn't have Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson, Sammy Watkins.
Todd Boyd. Yeah, for real. I don't know if he had Todd Boyd, but yeah, they had a good group to come through. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, seriously.
What about Penn State, real quick, before we gotta go?
They won the game, but I'm tired of Penn State ass too. I'm gonna be real with you,
man. I'm gonna say some crazy stuff right here, but I've often compared James Franklin to Lane Kiffin. Guys that will beat the majority of teams but can't get the big dogs out of the way. And there ain't no excuse for Ole Miss this year. If Ole Miss does not compete for the SEC championship or don't make it to the playoffs, sorry, Lane, you just ain't up there, brother. Because
facts.
They have an easier run at it this year than they've had in a long time. And Penn State, you look good against West Virginia, who I expected them to win by double digits. I never thought West Virginia was going to beat Penn State. Penn State plays sound football, but they don't have that star.
Hey, I picked that game and I picked Penn State, but I was down hoping like hell. That because I'm tired of like.
Oh, it would have made me laugh.
Huh?
It would have made me laugh, dude. Because it was just like what Penn State's like watching Iowa 20 years ago, where they always put them in the top 10 every year in the preseason, and they never lived up to it. And you can argue that Penn State was kind of a top 10 team last year, but they lost to everybody they should, and they beat everybody they should. So what are they? They have no identity.
I agree. I want to talk longer like hell, but my phone about to die.
Hey, man, I get it.
You coming on.
We got to do this again.
This was some good shit.
Hey, I enjoyed it, man. It's been a long time since I got on here and talked any football, man.
Yeah.
I had a lot to say today.
Well, Tom Reed, appreciate you. Appreciate you. But y'all, my phone about to die. I salute everybody. Everybody click the like button, share with everybody everywhere if you don't mind. Appreciate you. I got my shit together now here, somewhat coming together. I know my devices has been upgraded. I'm gonna upgrade my home internet. Like 2 more weeks, they're supposed to come out, so I'm gonna probably try to get better graphics and everything. Now I'm probably gonna change the name of the channel from Nick Saban Jr. because I'm probably gonna take it more business wise. Like my boy Coach Smoot doing, you know what I'm saying? Probably not as intense as him because I still gotta work and provide for my family, but I'm probably finna take it more serious. My videos are gonna probably seem less like I'm rambling. I'm gonna actually write my thoughts down and say what I want to say and stuff. But Van, appreciate you for coming on.
Hey man, I had a blast,
Roll
dude.
Tide to
It's an honor.
everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an honor for me working with you, cause man, I love these good football talks. Next time I'm
Same here,
probably trying
man.
to get my boy Rise up on. Holla at my boy KB, get him back. He been doing his thing over his side. But man, I'm just glad to be back. Glad college football is back. Had a hell
Yes,
of a
sir.
weekend. And y'all, Alabama fans just like up. All the other college football fans, hey, go Dogs, go Canes, do whatever y'all do, whatever. Go wherever y'all go. But man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And we out. But I'm gonna hit y'all with this one last time.
So what we do is important. But how we do what we do becomes more and more important. And that's for every guy here. So what we do is important. But how we do what we do becomes more and more important. And that's for every. So what we do is
whatever, I'm out.
but how we do what we do becomes more and more important.